So hi, I'm Anna Hollander-Bird. I'm a therapist and a coach helping you deal with your difficult or narcissistic parent. And I want to talk today about a topic called mother hunger. And it's kind of an interesting term. It's a topic that Kelly McDaniel has written a book on, and I think it's very applicable to adult children who have a lot of longing for love, longing for connection. And it's just a way we can better understand the grief we feel when we find out we have a difficult, narcissistic, mentally ill parent, and also why does the grief linger for so long? That's why I wanted to bring up this theme today, because a lot of times when people come see me, they expect, in 2 weeks it's going to feel better. And believe me, I wish that were true, but think about how many years you've had to exist in this dynamic with your parents. So given that, we know that the longing is from a much, much deeper place, which is what Kelly talks about in her book, Mother Hunger. But this term, when I hear it, it just feels like a little overwhelming and a little like psychological jargon. So I just want to break it down in a little bit of an easier way for you to understand and make it kind of digestible for you. One more thing actually before I get into it is a lot of times people I work with can also say, oh, I feel like I'm so sensitive. I'm just not able to get over it. And again, I think the mother hunger concept also really validates why we feel so emotional. And it's a normal response to unmet needs. And she's done a lot of research on it. So we have like that proof that I think a lot of us as adult children are looking for. So here's a few ways it can show up. One is missing nurturing, missing protection, and missing guidance. So let's start with nurture. So nurture is a concept she talks about a lot. And if you were missing nurture, which you probably were in some regard if you had a difficult narcissistic parent, is a lot of times when you were struggling emotionally, you were told just to get over it. I've used the example of in high school when someone broke up with me, crying and my mom being like, just get over it. So it teaches you that your emotions are invalid and you start to feel disconnected at times from your own needs. And the second one is protection. So it could have shown up in any type of way. You may have been left to face actual harm alone. Like, for example, if someone in your family hurt you and your mom didn't step in, you might have grown to feel like hypervigilant or unsafe, kind of waiting for the next threat. The third example is missing guidance. And this is a really big one, I think, as we get older, because when guidance is absent, you might not recall being taught basic life skills or how to trust your instincts, which is, I think, why we often question ourselves. So perhaps you're left to figure it out, and that insecurity kind of follows you into being an adult. Like, I know for me, for example, I couldn't talk about like relationships and dating when I was in high school, because I would get like teased and mocked, which again, you know what? I'm not saying parents are perfect around this, but I do think it taught me that anything around the topic I needed to explore and figure out myself, which also brings up a sense of aloneness in our internal world. And I think as an adult, it's hard for me sometimes to share personal details, even with people that I feel safe with, because I think, like, again, that internal world, I don't really have the template at times of it feeling very safe. So anyway, this is a super broad stroke on this concept, and I'll go into it more in another episode. But just to summarize, if any of this feels familiar to you, you are not alone. And recognizing these gaps is the first step towards healing. You can learn to nurture yourself. You can learn to build a sense of safety and trust in your own inner voice. Healing from mother hunger is possible, and you deserve it. And what I want to say is, if you have dealt with a lot of longing, like I said in the beginning of the episode, longing to finally kind of have a functional family dynamic, longing to have a wonderful holiday that's never happened, longing to have a great family trip that's never happened, longing to even have a decent family dinner that's never happened, because there's always explosions. That is okay to have that longing, because it comes from a very, very very deep wound that probably started in your early childhood. So again, don't want to be too therapist-y about it, but sometimes we do need to use therapeutic concepts so that we can better understand ourselves, better understand our brains, and from that place offer ourselves a lot more self-understanding. So hope that helps.